यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य
ओम ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः सर्वोपप्लवरहित प्रज्ञान घन प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्माहमस्मि सोहमस्मि ब्रह्माहमस्मि। ओम प्रपन्नपारिजाताय तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। My best wishes and paripurna ashirvadams to may the Almighty Shri Lord Venkateshwara bestow all kinds of prosperity, wealth, health and eternal happiness with paripurna Lakshmi Katakshams to you and your entire family members. Let us begin Srimad Bhagavad Gita, verse number 10 of 5th chapter. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Brahmanyadhaya Karmani Sangam Tektva Karoti Yaha Lipyate Nasa Papena Padmapatramibambhasa. The 5th chapter began with the question from Arjuna, which is the best, Grihastha life or Sannyasa life? Why only two? Because there are four: Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyasa ashramas. So among these four ashramas, only doubt came about on two ashramas. Why is it so? Because Arjuna was very much aware the Brahmacharya ashrama is to prepare to enter into Grihastha ashrama, and Vanaprastha ashrama is to prepare to enter into Sannyasa ashrama. Therefore, there are only two ashramas are importance among these four ashramas. And Krishna made very clear, no confusion at all. Both of them are equally respected by our Shastras and our people, ancient rishis. But there is a choice you to select between Grihastha and Sannyasa. But Sannyasa ashrama, it has got the risky factor. Once you select, it's a one-way traffic, you cannot come back. But Grihastha ashrama, if you are in Brahmacharya ashrama, you can travel through Grihastha ashrama, then you can go to Vanaprastha ashrama, you can go to Sannyasa ashrama. Or from Grihastha ashrama, you can take Sannyasa. From even Vanaprastha ashrama, you can take Sannyasa. But if you take Sannyasa, you cannot return. There is no reverse system. And knowing this factor, but there is no choice between sadhanas. Therefore, Krishna introduced there are two sadhanas. Those sadhanas are in two stages. One is known as Karma Yoga, another is known as Jnana Yoga. In other words, Sankhya Yoga. This Karma Yoga and the Sankhya Yoga, they are the stages. Karma Yoga is for the beginners to get maturity in order to get Jnana Yogyata, in order to get purification in their mind. So once mind has become pure, it sets the Yogyata, the qualification to assimilate, to observe the knowledge. Then if you pursue for Jnana Yoga, that Jnana Yoga is the means for moksha, but the Jnana Yoga end for Karma Yoga, that's the sequence. Therefore, there is no choice. The choice cannot be utilized there, but you can select the lifestyles, but not sadhanas. He made it very clear, and also he explained what Karma Yogi has to undergo and what Jnana Yogi should undergo. So last two verses, 8 and 9. Now the 10th verse also, it describes a Jnana Yogi, how he finds himself when he is in the Vyavahara, he is in the normal day-to-day life. Now Krishna introduced his science. Krishna has become a mega science person. He is a great scientist, I tell you, because he teaches how can you become while eating as the non-eater, while seeing as a non-seer, while doing non-doer. So that's what the science which was taught from the 2 verses 8 and 9. Pashyan, Shrunvan, Sprishan, Jigran, Ashnan. All these karyas from Jnanendriyas, seeing and hearing and touching, smelling, tasting. So when you hear, you have 2 kinds of eye in you. When you identify with the eye which is beyond the small eye, then it is possible. It's very easy. When you are traveling in a car, somebody is driving, you are sitting back, the car is going in 80 kilometer speed per an hour. But you are sitting inside, though car is endowed with the activity, but you are not endowed with the activity. So that's, we are not going to do anything special to become non-doer, just to identify yourself with the non-doer who already exists as the akarma. That's what the science which was taught in the 4th chapter. So simply it seems to be Krishna is bringing both teaching, the teaching from 3rd chapter, teaching from the 4th chapter. In the 3rd chapter he introduced karma yoga, means what? How do we convert karma into yoga with the help of yajna bhavana? You have to remember yajnarthat karmano nyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tadartham karma kaunteya. So mukta sanga samacharan. So that's what he taught us. And in the 4th chapter he taught karman yah karma yah pashyet akarmani cha karma yah. So these 2 verses are very important. One is for karma yogi, another is for jnana yogi. But here, so he has combined both. So both yogas have been told in the 7th verse. The first line describes how the karma yogi gets maturity from the karma. So by adopting karma yoga, that is nishkamya karma yoga with the help of yajna bhavana. So having yajna bhavana, sacrificing all the fruit of action towards Lord. When you surrender, you gain the prasada buddhi. That prasada buddhi brings vishuddha chittam, means purity in the mind. So when you get the pure mind, it is easier to control your both sets of organs, means organs of action, organs of knowledge. You become completely qualified for jnana. That's what described in the first line of 7th verse. Yoga yukto vishuddhatma vijitatma jitendriyaha. In the second line he says sarva bhutatma kurvannapi nalipyate. One who has identified himself. There are 3 stages of identification. One is to realize first that I am imperishable, I am Nitya Atma, I am the person who never undergo the modifications as taught in the 2nd chapter. My body is originated, it has become into name and form. So once I was born, I had to grow. Once I started growing, that growth won't continue up to the death. After certain period of time, the growth stops. And when the growth stops, so the modification won't stop. Modification will continue as the modification means there are changes. Once you grow after 21 years, the growth stops. Then what? All changes takes place. If you are a male, you get mustache, you get a beard, you get so many changes in your voice and so many changes in your total appearance. Skin become thick. If you are a female, so according to that you will also get biological, psychological changes. Then those changes also, it is not permanent. So after certain period of time, the changes will begin as the changes which are the decay. Then that decay also, after a certain point of time, it goes into non-being. So this body has got the modification. I don't have the modification. I remain the same. So same means not changing for anything. First is to realize that Atma is imperishable, Nitya Atma. And the second stage of realization is this Atma alone exists in all the bodies. So all the being, they do have the Atma like me, which is Nityam, and all that Atma is none other than one consciousness, that all pervasive consciousness. That consciousness is the only one. Then the third stage is that consciousness which is all pervasive is the consciousness which is also known as Brahman or Paramatma or Ishvara. That consciousness is nothing but my consciousness. That's what here told. Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma. When I identify myself as a Nityam, when I could identify all the consciousness is nothing but my consciousness, if I find the oneness with all the people, then I can find the oneness with the God. So once I get oneness with everything, the oneness remains, that duality goes away. Then thereafter, whatever I do, I am the non-doer. Kurvannapi na lipyate. Then the understanding will take place. What? Naiva kinchit karomi. I don't do anything because I won't become karta. That's what the core of the teaching of from 6th verse to 10th verse. So these verses, they talk about Karma Yoga Sadhana and Jnana Yoga Sadhana too. That's what he concludes here. Brahmani adaya karmani sangam tiktva karotyaha. Brahmani adaya. Brahman means, here there are three meanings. Brahman means Atmani adaya. Surrendering all the action into Atma. And surrendering all the actions, karma phalas, into Ishvara. And surrendering everything, Ishvara and Atma, into Brahman. That's what Brahmani Adaya. Brahmani Adaya means it's not physically told, just to identify yourself, you are nothing but consciousness. Because when we were born, we are born with consciousness. This is like a light, So when I keep hand like this, so now the hand is visible, but the light is not realized as the cause of the visibility. The light remains light. If I move the hands, the light also, it seems to be moving, but light is not moving, only hand is moving. If I do like this, light remains unattached. Okay, so that hand, all the movement, it belongs to the hand, means my fingers and palm, but the light which remains as though non-doer. In the same way, when you realize you are beyond everything, you see your body, you are not into your body. That's what the science Krishna brings. We are not into our body, body is in us. I'll say again, we are not into the body, we are not only into the body, but we think that from the birth. We think that I only exist in this body, therefore I have to protect myself. In order to protect myself, I need to have so many things. What are the so many things? I need to have a home, I need to have a car, I need to have bank balance, I need to have insurance, I need to have relatives, I need to have a power in the society, I need to have relative with me. So all these things, it comes because I'm not satisfied with me, because I'm tiny, limited, and I'm in the shell called body. But Krishna says, no, my dear, body exists in you because you are all pervasive. Now the light is all pervasive. Now with the help of the light, you can see the hand, but the light is not directly seen. Light is understood with the help of this hand. Therefore, it becomes upadhi. You are like light. You could realize with the help of your body yourself. That's what it is other way around. With the help of light, we understand the hand, but the understanding is what Vedanta says. With the help of hand alone, you could see the light, you could feel the light, because you could experience the light. Otherwise, there is no light. Though light exists, you cannot experience. You need to have body, mind and sense complex in order to experience your consciousness. Therefore, this body is valid tool to experience ourselves, but it doesn't mean that all the movement, if I do like this, all the movement, it belongs to light, because because of the light the hand is seen. No, all the movement which are taking place in the body, it never affect you, because you remain as the light. That's what the teaching is here. So it is mind blowing, and it's breaking all the system of understanding. Krishna is bold enough to say action by action. Seeing is an action, hearing is an action, touching is an action, and smelling is action, and tasting is action. All these actions belong to Jnanendriya, and walking, talking, and excrete, responding the nature call. So everything is an action oriented. Action oriented means the organs of actions have been described. All of them are taking place, but I am the witness like the light. If I could identify with myself as the light, I need not to separate voluntarily from me from the action, me from the body, me from the buddhi. No, I'm already away from my body and sense complex. Like the light. So light is not existing in the hand. Light is somewhere else, but hand is seen. Light is all pervasive, but we could experience only through the fingers and palms of the hand. That's what the reality is. The reality doesn't require any story. In order to understand the reality, we need to have little bit, a small amount of formulas are enough to make us understanding, because the reality talks about ourself. It's not talking about something else. It is talking about ourself. That's what, whatever the work you do, but you have the consciousness which is not sticked with these actions like the light. So when you could identify your light with your Brahman, the consciousness, that's what explained. When you identify yourself, not identifying yourself with the actions of organs, actions of knowledge of the organs, you just identify with yourself. When you identify with yourself, let organs get involved with so many actions, but be careful, they have to be governed by dharma. Now, because this system is caused by karmapala, but the karmapala which was caused by ignorance, so that now we are enlightened, but due to ignorance, whatever the karmas we did, the karma has provided as the result this body. Therefore, till this body is alive, action must be there. Action must be get connected with, to engage your body, mind and sense complex with proper dharma yukta actions, the actions which are governed by dharma. This is a clear understanding about a jnana yogi. Once you realize yourself, just enjoy the dharma, not for the sake of karma phala, just you enjoy it. Okay, then the next words, again he introduces karma yogi, how he goes with sadhana, what are the benefit out of it. Then he will explain jnana yogi. So as third chapter introduced karma yoga, fourth chapter introduced jnana yoga. Okay, now we'll read the next words. Kayena manasa buddhya kevalairindrayairapi yoginah karma kurvanti sangam tektvatma shuddhaye. Now yogis, karma yogis means to become matured with karma. This is a practical science, I tell you. This is a practical science. So once we are born, we are endowed with karma. That karma which causes for karma bandha. We are bandhatmas. Once you are born, you are known as the term through Vedanta. It says you are bandhatma. So why it calls you are bandhatma? We have to remember. So bandhatma means the person, one who is sufferer. Okay, that's a beautiful word, When we suffer, then alone we realize something is wrong. When we are happy, we don't realize anything. So when the suffering happens, then we find ourselves something went wrong. That something is nothing but called bondage. So now we have to come out of the bondage, means we have to use the karma alone, no other way. We have to use the karma alone. That karma we produce through three organs, three tools or three means. One is through body and another is through mind, another one is through walk. But here says kayena manasa buddhya kevalairindrayairapi. This karma yogi become very focused and concentrated. So he has the karma within him. You need not to go for anywhere. If I ask you to, where is the Badrinath? Where is Tirumala? Where is the Sabarimala? You can say somewhere it is, this much kilometer far they are. But if I ask, where is karma? The karma is everywhere. No, karma is not everywhere. Karma exactly exists in you in the form of karma phala. So here the karma exists. The karma comes through mouth. The karma comes through limbs. The karma comes as the vritti, as the mind, thinking. That's what the first focused mind. So yogi focuses the outcoming and inner popping. Outcoming means that which comes as the karma, inner urge. If you have thirst, and if you have hunger, and if you have the urge to go to the toilet. So these inner driving forces, and which are in the form of thought, and this yogi is very careful with these activities. He converts slowly one by one into yajna, into yoga. He is very much careful, focused, concentrated, and he becomes the meditator. That's what called buddhi yoga. He uses the buddhi. He identifies properly what the karma's nature is. Slowly he converts. He carefully detaches from the karma phala by using the technique which was introduced in the 3rd chapter. By surrendering to the Lord and gaining the prasada buddhi and setting the devotion in his mind with shraddha, he converts himself as a bhakta. So bhakti will help you to surrender your karma phala to the Lord Almighty, because he is almighty, omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent. By having the glory of the God, by seeing, understanding and observing those Almighty's power, he utilizes. Sangam tiktva atma shuddhaye yoginaha karma kurvanti. They perform actions in order to get maturity, through actions in order to get away from the actions. The beautiful verses these verses are. The 5th chapter is the combination of 3rd and 4th and the essence of the 2nd chapter. Though it is named as the karma sannyasa only is possible when you are matured in the karma, when you are matured in the jnana, when you attain moksha. Moksha is nothing but called karma sannyasa. Though the body is endowed with karma, doesn't matter. Okay, that's what proper understanding. Next words, yuktah karma phalam tektva shanti mapnoti naishtikim ayuktah kamakarena phale sakto nibadhyate. As we saw in the beginning itself, there are 2 kinds of sadhana. Whether you are a sannyasi, grihastha, you have to undergo these 2 stages of sadhana. Whether you are a sannyasi or grihastha, you have to become matured in the karma. You have to become karma yogi. You have to become naishtika siddha yogi. That's what here said. Yuktaha means the person who is endowed with karma yogaha, that karma phalam tektva shantim naishtikim shantim apnoti. By dropping the karma phala, he gets the chitta shuddhi, he gets the maturity. So where there is no karma phala could enter. But the person, one who is not endowed with karma yoga, so kama karena phale sakto nibadhyate, he is bound by karma phala. He is affected by, he is limited by, he is pushed into birth and death circle. That's what the sthiti, the benefit of the normal people's karma. Then he continues, I'll read it. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasyaste sukham vashi navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvanna karayan. Once you become matured with your karma phala, when your mind and buddhi is pure, then you can enter into jnana yoga. So jnana yogi and jnana yoga is described in the forthcoming 2 verses, 13 and 14th words, that we will see in the next episode tomorrow. Harihi Om. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.